Curt, the post-Easter weekend.
It is post-Easter weekend, and welcome. It's the Curt and Jen in the Morning pod/video cast. Thank you for being here, as always. We'd love for you to like, follow, and or subscribe. Anything else you can think of would be helpful, I'm sure, too. So there you go. How are you, Jen?
I'm good. I wanted to show off my new t-shirt that I love so much. Look.
Kindness Crew. Very nice.
I love it. I got it
Kindness Crew.
I got it at Old Navy for like, I think it was like $10.
Perfect. I'm wearing cracking gear.
Kindness Crew.
As I tend to do.
Join it. It's fun.
Join the Kindness Crew.
Anyone can be a part of it. It's not an exclusive club at all.
Here's what we have for the program today. A chef reveals his favorite cooking hacks, which could be helpful for everybody. And also, if you do this on a first date, it's more likely to lead to a second date.
We want to know if your job is meaningless. Also, how you're living dangerously, which there are some awesome answers from that, by the way.
Yeah. That was our question of the day from Friday. We'll have your answers for that. And finally, our nicknames going extinct. And as always, the plus much, much more once we get underway here which is happening right now, All right. What do we got? You got something to share about your weekend?
Well, so we celebrated our friend Carrie's birthday with a girls' day out wine tasting, which ended in a group dinner where the guys joined us. It was super fun. But, you know, as we start drinking more wine, we have looser lips. And
right.
One of the gals, Lily, decides to announce to the group, there's like 7 of us, I will not be friends with ugly people. You can just ask my high school friends. And
wow.
we're like, what? And she's like, that's a compliment to you guys. And I'm like, but wait a second. If I get ugly, though, then I'm kicked out of your friendship group.
If I get ugly. Well, hopefully her definition of ugly is pretty broad.
Right.
So, you know, it's like, that's pretty harsh, though. I will not be friends with ugly people. Wait. Oh, I know Lily.
Yes, you do know Lily.
Okay. She's one of the beautiful people. So I guess she can say that.
You can say that. That's right. And you're one of her friends too. So that means you're good looking, Curt.
Well, she might have to take a second look at some of my earlier photos.
It just counts for right now, I think. I don't know. Anyway, I thought it was hilarious. I thought that proclamation was hilarious.
Just out of the blue. Isn't that funny? You get some of the loudmouth soup in you and you're suddenly, I'm not friends with any ugly people.
Loudmouth soup.
Also, I hate bunnies and puppies. Like, what? Yeah, okay, she did not say that.
Why do you say you have 2 anniversaries to announce? 2 people are celebrating? What's going on?
The first anniversary is my wife and I have been married 7 years today.
Happy anniversary, Curt. I didn't know that.
Isn't that amazing? 7 years have gone by already.
Be careful, the 7-year itch.
No, there's no 7-year itch. Thank you very much. So
all
yes.
I'm saying is be extra mindful during this year.
7 years ago there at the winery.
I was there.
In Woodinville. That was good. The second anniversary is also the date that I met my now wife, which was 10 years ago today. Our anniversary of our first meeting and our wedding are the same day. So
your first date and your wedding anniversary are the same. Oh, that is so romantic, Curt.
Look what I did there. Yeah, that was all me, by the way. People are saying, Dana probably planned that. And I was like, no.
Question.
Please.
What are you doing for your anniversary? How are you celebrating?
Well, it's a secret.
Does that mean you have nothing planned?
We have things planned.
I mean, somehow.
I already said, listen.
What else?
We'll get something together. I said, okay, let's go to a favorite restaurant. She's like, well, our favorite restaurant is actually closed on Mondays. That is true.
There's a lot. What's your favorite restaurant?
Calabria, Italian place, real close by, is one of our favorites. So we will find something. I'll have a full report for you tomorrow. Okay. Would that get you to stop asking questions right now?
For now. Okay. We can move on.
Thanks for listening.
I have an observation that I made that really made me frustrated. And I'm going to say it here because I have this platform. I was at the gym the other day and I try to do, like, they call it supersets, where I don't really take a rest too much in between.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do one exercise on one machine and then I'll go to another. And I try to be really mindful of, like, what are 2 machines it doesn't look like anyone's using right now.
Nice.
And if someone hops on, okay, hop on the machine. I'll either do something else or wait quickly.
Right.
Well,
Right.
so that happened. I was doing 2 exercises, swapping between machines, and then the gal came into one of the machines. And I was done with my other machine and went to the other one. And she literally was doing nothing except for scrolling on social media on her phone with her headphones on, without, any care in the world or any like, oh, there's someone waiting for this machine. So finally I had to say, excuse me, how many more sets do you have? I wanted to say, since you haven't done any.
Well, so she was just on this machine, just not doing a thing, not doing the exercise or anything.
She had done one set, stopped, and was waiting there. And anyway, it was a long period of time that passed before I finally said something like, I need to use this machine, because I had went and used another machine and then came back. I'm like, I want to do this. And I'm seeing her not doing anything. So now I'm going to say something.
Rude. Not you, her. And what was the answer, by the way? What was the response?
She's like, oh, I have one more set. I'm like, okay. So I just
She
waited.
should have, I think that she should have vacated it immediately.
Well, do your one more set, but just don't sit on a machine and scroll, especially when someone's waiting for it.
Yeah, that's just impolite.
Anyway.
There's a lot of, unfortunately, I think that there's a lot of inconsiderate. It just seems like it's having more of a moment now, being
Yeah.
inconsiderate and impolite. I want to tell you about the 6 pizzas.
Tell me, did you eat
This
6
is,
pizzas?
well, yeah, kind of. On Saturday, we went to see our friend Annie and Bong. This is one of Dana's old friends. Great people. They live over in North Seattle, kind of near Blue Ridge. We went to their house, and they have a giant pizza oven, one of these big ones. They have to keep it in the backyard. It cannot be in the house. I think it heats up to like 950 degrees or something.
I know what you speak of. Our friends Lori and Glenn, as you know, have
Yes.
one too, and they make delicious pizzas.
Right. Speaking of which, Bong did ask about, she's like, by the way, whatever happened with Randy and the pizza? Because they listened to the show. Remember, you were talking about how Randy didn't get his own very own pizza? I was like, okay, I'll find
that has
out.
not died. That will always stay alive.
Here's the thing. They say, oh, we're going to try some pizza. I was like, okay, great. And they put the pizza in. And of course, it's done like that, like a minute and a half later.
Fast.
And the first one they had was kind of an unusual one. It was ham and pickles, and it was amazing. It was very good. Ham and pickle pizza. All right. And then they threw the second one in, which was more like a sausage and whatever the case may be. I thought they kept on putting in pizzas. So I was eating these pizza as if, okay, we're going to have 2. But then there were 4 more to be had.
Right.
And I did not feel comfortable saying I'm not going to have any. So we had a lot of pizzas, the long and the short of it. I was surprised because they made up the dough already or whatever. So they're like, well, we got to use it.
Yeah, that's true. You do have to use it right away. And that's what happens at Glenn and Lori's house when we've done little pizza parties. And I love their pizza parties because the pizza, I mean, there is something to be said about homemade, freshly made dough and fresh ingredients, and they're going in the oven, they're coming out quickly. You get to eat the pizza super hot. Like,
Yep.
oh, I can put down a lot of their pizza. It's
Well, you should
good.
have been there Saturday night then. We needed you. We needed somebody to rally.
I would have been there for it. You know it.
I think I need to get a pizza oven too, but that's another story. What's going on with the IRS? Are you in trouble?
No, well, here's the thing. I turned in my taxes, right, and did the electronic thing. And I want to bring this up just because I wonder. And my tax gal said, don't respond to this. Don't fall for it. But I got an email from the IRS saying, from the IRS in air quotes, saying
Right.
that they can't transfer the funds into my account. Like something's wrong. Like, okay, I'm thinking, well, did I put a wrong number? And I did we did all that training when we were working at the radio station on being safe with computers and
Right.
I looked at the email address. It's a @.gov type of thing. And she's like, the IRS wouldn't do this. Just go directly into your IRS account and see what it says. Do not respond to that email. But it looks legit.
Right. Honestly, I don't know. I'm not smart enough to know, or I'm not evil enough to figure out how these people manage to do that kind of stuff. But it really, it seems to me that there should be some way to stop it. 100%. But
and teach your kids the same thing, because they don't necessarily get the official training that we get.
Right.
Anyway, it's little, like, it just makes me mad. Another thing that makes me mad.
On to some unfortunately sad news. It's just happened this morning, I guess. 7:35, I think, Eastern time. We lost Pope Francis. He passed away at the age of 88.
He was
And
sick, right? But this was unexpected that he died.
right. Well, he had been sick for a while and he'd been in and out of the hospital. But then he was back at the Vatican, and I guess I assumed, like everybody, okay, great, he's out of the woods. But I guess his health remained fragile after he returned to the Vatican, and so he did pass away, unfortunately, at the age of 88. So there you go.
Officially
The
on
day
Monday.
after Easter.
I was asking, yeah, I was going to say that, yeah, the day after Easter.
Yeah, I guess if he would have passed away on Easter, would that have been? I mean, it's not good either way, but it seems
No,
to me that he got to do his Easter,
that's what I was just
service or
going to say.
whatever.
Like that was his kind of his last thing, which is a big darn deal. That's the Super Bowl for Christians is Easter.
The Super Bowl for Christians?
I feel like.
They should start selling it that way. Hey, Easter, the Super Bowl for Christians. All right.
Ice, baby, too cold, too cold. What? Ice, baby, too cold. I've never even heard that song before.
Ice Ice Baby?
It says too cold in the lyrics.
Ice Baby, too cold, too cold. What did you think it was?
Ice Baby. Dun 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 dun.
At the end, when it's fading out, Ice Baby, too cold, too cold.
Oh. I don't know what
I guess I gotta be more careful picking these covers of these songs.
Okay, anyway, that's a good one. The ice bucket challenge is back, and I wanted to bring it up for a very special reason, but let's first talk about it. It's like 10 years ago, it was like the big thing for ALS, I believe it was.
Right. Everybody was dumping buckets of ice in their heads, and now it's returned. This, I guess the trend started a few weeks ago, March 31st. There's a club named MIND, M-I-N-D, which stands for Mental Health Needs Discussion. All right. That's at the University of South Carolina, and they announced the challenge again, the Ice Bucket Challenge.
Yeah, there was an Instagram reel post, and now it's spread virally. And I will tell you, my daughter Macy, who is 15, I will sit next to her and she's scrolling on Instagram, and it's Ice Bucket Challenge, Ice Bucket Challenge. And I believe that she was starting to feel a little left out because she hadn't been given the challenge yet. But over the weekend, she got challenged to it. So what happens is you get someone offers a challenge to other people. They have to dump the ice on their head, and then they offer the challenge to it's 2 to 5 other people. So usually it's about 3. Right.
So first you take the bucket, you put it on your head. It's full of ice water, cold water. You pour it on yourself. You're like, oh, that's cold. Now I challenge you 5 people to go ahead and do the same thing. And Macy got the challenge. So did she do the ice bucket challenge yet?
Did the ice bucket challenge, and she challenged us.
You must be talking about yourself and your boyfriend.
No, I'm talking about, she's like, and I challenged Curt and Jen.
All right. I'll do it again. That's fine. But this time, see, here's the thing. This time,
I've never done it. Have you done it?
Oh, okay. Well, you should probably do it twice then, because you haven't done it before. You can do it in my stead.
No. Did you do it when it was for ALS?
Yes. And now it's for a different cause, as you had mentioned, that mental health needs discussion, trying to raise awareness, because the mental health struggles, of course, all age groups have difficulties and challenges there, but the majority of mental health conditions are diagnosed and are happening to young people, students in college and high school. It's happening a lot too. And they found that about 70% of youth and adults don't know how to speak with a friend about mental health.
So here's the thing. She challenged us, but it's really more for college age and high school age kids. Although like you said, mental health affects all of us. I think there was a statistic about 50% of us will be affected in some way by mental health.
Yeah. So
okay, so are we gonna dump the ice, or are we gonna make the donation? Because that's how that works. You can opt out, you can bail out of the ice bucket challenge by making a donation. But I'm thinking, since we don't have a lot of US dollars, that we should probably just do the ice. That's cheaper.
I'll think on it. You're right. I don't have a lot of US dollars right now, but I don't know if I want to go through the ice thing again.
Okay. Well,
obviously I survived.
But it will be done, and we'll issue challenges to probably 5. I can think of 5 people I would issue the challenge to.
Me too. Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. All right. This is from the Happy News department, along with the bunny hop music.
I do love this, Curt.
Yeah, this is pretty stinking cool. This goes to Orlando. In Orlando over the weekend, the Orlando Fire, Arson, and Bomb Squad, right away you're like, ooh, something bad happened. It did not. The Orlando Fire, Arson, and Bomb Squad hosted an inclusive Easter egg hunt on Saturday. This was an Easter egg hunt for visually impaired children in Orlando and around the area. The Orlando Fire Department first responders, that what they did was they designed special Easter eggs that beeped. So even if the kids were sight impaired or visually impaired, they could still hear that the eggs were beeping. That ensured that children with visual impairments could participate in what obviously is a great holiday tradition there.
I love it
Mm-hmm.
so much.
Apparently there is
Inclusivity, people. I love
absolutely.
that.
I guess there's a first responder in Orlando whose daughter is visually impaired, so decided that this would be a good way to make everybody be able to. That is just a great story. So I'm glad we did that one.
Thanks for sharing, Curt.
I'm happy for us sometimes.
Take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more.
All right.
What's under the headline? Is your job meaningless?
Right.
What's the deal with this thing here?
Would you say that your job has a meaningful impact on the world, or is it totally pointless, a means to an end? So a poll found that most Americans do feel like their job has meaning. 62% said yes, 18% aren't sure, and 20% feel like they're just keeping a chair warm. College grads were a little more likely to think their job makes a difference. So were people with classic office jobs that involve meetings and emails. That is interesting to me. They were more likely to feel their job does make a difference. And if you're just sitting in, okay, if your job doesn't involve two things, doesn't involve those two things, there's a 31% chance that you'll feel like you're just spinning your wheels to earn a paycheck.
Sorry, I checked out for a second. I have something to add to the show after we get done with this story.
Okay. I think we're done with it.
I wonder if we should go on first, because this really just involves the fact that yesterday I bought a bird feeder, not just a bird feeder, it's a bird feeder with a mounted camera. So you can watch and the birdies come up to your camera, and it also has AI, so it identifies the bird, Shut
your mouth.
Yeah, but I was frustrated because we hadn't got any birds yet. I mean, it's been up for like a day. Granted, it was a little rainy yesterday.
Yeah.
I was like, well, when are the birds going to find out about this thing? It turns out that the birds did not find out about it, but somebody else did.
Who?
And I'm going to hang on. I'm going to, if I can make this thing work. Oh, no, I'm not even smart enough to do this thing. I just made it giant. Okay, I'm going to hold it up to the camera here. Look at that squirrel.
The squirrel. Get out of there, squirrel. That's
going to town on the bird seed.
Where is it mounted, Curt? Where's the birdhouse mounted?
At the very back corner of the yard on our fence. I know it looks like there's just woods in the back, but we've got a nice green strip behind the house. So
but on the fence, that's why.
So, well, what am I supposed to do?
Mount it to the house.
Well, you can't hang them. That was something that, here's why we didn't mount it to the house. If you mount it to the house, the bird seed drops to the ground, and then the critters that like to eat that, i.e. rats, mice, stuff like that, come and eat the food, and then they go into our house. Trust me, we've been there and done that. We still have a possum living in the backyard, by the way.
I love the idea of this, but these other critters are going to get to the food because they can climb to the fence. Chipmunks, squirrels.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, all right.
As long as they don't eat all of it, we're gonna have to. Oh, there is a little alarm on it. You can go beep and like startle them and scare them away, I guess.
Is it a flying squirrel? Did it identify it as a flying squirrel?
It did not. I did not see what the identification is yet, but okay. I'll check it later. It's probably just a gray squirrel.
Red Robin. Yum.
Talked about the story last week. Red Robin was giving away their bottomless burger passes, not giving away, selling. They were going to sell these bottomless burger passes. We'll get you a burger and a bottomless side every day of the month of May, and it was going to cost you just $20 total. So it turned out a lot of people were interested in this.
It's cheap food.
Think, right? Mm-hmm.
Like $20 for every day you get burger and fries.
So when they went on sale, I think it was, what do you decide, Saturday morning maybe? They never said how many of these passes they were selling, only that there was a limited number and that they would go quickly. So what happened was, as often happens when you get these big events, they used the Taylor Swift concert as an example, saying that these Red Robin passes are harder to get than Taylor Swift tickets because they had issues with the website. Some fans were frustrated and vented on social media. They went on. I spent literally an hour refreshing for the burger pass. What incredible incompetence. And somebody else said it was literally easier to get tickets to Taylor Swift than it is to get a Red Robin burger pass.
But the bottom line is they're sold out, and now we're out of luck.
Well, here's the quote. Here's the thing from Red Robin. They did apologize for the site going down, saying we did everything we could to anticipate interest in the bottomless burger pass, but due to overwhelming excitement, our website and supporting systems crashed. So I don't know if they sold all of them before it crashed or there's something else going on. I guess you could probably, I would say stay tuned to this podcast to find out more, but I can't promise that.
I bet they're sold out. I bet they're done.
More than likely, yes.
And they never did say how many they sold, huh?
Nope. Nope. I'm going to keep an eye out because I would like to get that, but apparently it's easier. I'm sorry, harder than it sounds to get that. Here we go. Yeah. Our question from Friday. How are you living dangerously?
And can I just say thank you for the answers that you gave. It was literally comic relief for me over the weekend. I was
a lot of them were
my ass off.
Right. The majority were pretty funny, I would say, right?
Yes.
Well, Brian started out by saying, how are you living dangerous? He says stress, and stress is not good for you. So that's a legit answer. But then Eric said biscuits and gravy is how he's living dangerously.
MC said I went roller skating.
Mm-hmm. What about Michelle?
Oh yeah. Michelle said buying shampoo with sulfate so it actually lathers.
Ooh, you risk taker. Susie, I eat sugar, lots and lots of sugar. Sometimes I ride my horse without my helmet. Oh, those are separate things. That's two things.
Scary
Cheryl,
stuff, Susie.
Do we all agree with this? Cheryl's living dangerously by, she says, I sometimes turn on the news when I wake up in the morning. It's very bad for my health.
I agree.
Agreed. Yeah.
Corey said, not always paying attention to use by or consume dates. One day it'll bite me in the bum. Can we pause here for a second? And Curt, I know that you will feel for this. She posted last night that she had to put her dog down last night.
Ah, shoot.
So Corey, we're thinking about you. We love you. And I'm sorry about little Bella.
So onto the list, Shelly said, I get in the car with Patrick. Everything is a rally car race, I guess, when you're driving with Patrick. That's how she's living on the edge, living dangerously.
Yeah, that's funny. That made me laugh a lot because she also posted a little meme about with someone skidding out and speeding. Anne said, spending all my money. Phil said, sometimes I don't even look to see which sock goes on which foot.
Whoa, that guy's a risk taker. He's a danger. Danger's his middle name, I bet. Matthew Swafford said, I live dangerously by sometimes teasing Lauren Swafford. Yes.
So
I mean, I don't know Lauren.
Life, and that's how he lives dangerously because Lauren, if she is not having it that day, watch out.
Mm-hmm. Halsey said, oh, she has 2 kids under 2. Is that what it is?
Well, here's another thing. She just posted yesterday. She had a gender reveal party that she's having. She has a girl right now who is Lil Nova is just over 1. I think she'll be 2 in December, maybe. Yeah, 2 in December. She just announced that she's having a boy due in September or October.
Okay, so that'll be the 2 under 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Randy lives dangerously. I don't always read the instructions, he says. Carrie says, I eat raw cookie dough and love it. Mm-hmm.
And Barb says, I live dangerously by driving on the freeway.
Don't we all? Thank you for those are fantastic answers. We love it when one of those takes off and we get those great answers. I love it
so much.
Absolutely. All right. A quick little love story.
I love it. This story is so cute, Curt.
Did you heard about this prior to today?
No.
Okay. A guy named Mitchell was out with his best friend and coworker. Her name is Brianna. They had been best friends for a few years, and they were just hanging out, walking along Lake Michigan on the sandy beach there. And he basically stepped into what it turned out to be kind of quicksand. Matthew was like, whoops, zoom. It swallowed him up to about his waist. He was buried in sand.
That would be so freaking scary. Seriously.
Well, yeah. Before you don't know, when am I going to stop sinking, right? So he's buried up to his waist in the quicksand. Well, I'm not going to call it quicksand, but so, all right. He's like, and his quote was, man, I was stuck. Like my left leg, I couldn't move anything. So here's where the story takes this sweet turn, Jen. So both he and his best friend, Brianne, called 911. They're like, okay, we got to come and get Matthew saved, right? At the exact same time, while she's on the phone with 911 and Matthew's on the phone with 911, she said, hey, my boyfriend is stuck in sand. And then Matthew on the phone said, you know what? My girlfriend is trying to call you as well. So it turns out they've both had a crush on each other for 2 years. And so they officially became boyfriend and girlfriend because he got stuck in the sand.
But he's okay. I mean, we don't have to, he's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's fine. I want to know how you get someone out of, well, let's call it quicksand, because that's what it sounds like it is.
Well, they threw him a rope. The paramedics arrived. Yeah, I mean, the pictures, he looked fine. He's just like, hey, just stuck up. And again, I know it would be frightening, but I guess the paramedics came, and then somehow they threw him a line, and I guess they just pulled him out.
I'm gonna ask hot firefighter boyfriend Pat how he would get someone out of quicksand.
Right, and it seems like they had a different word for it besides quicksand. It was something where they had been drudging the beach or something like that. So there were areas where it hadn't quite settled yet. I know I'm not doing this justice. I know there's people that know exactly what this is, but basically I guess the layman's term is, I would say, yeah, it was basically quicksand he got buried in. But it turns out, because that's kind of a weird, sometimes that's a bit of a sketchy thing when you're dating. It's like, are you guys boyfriend and girlfriend yet? And I don't know, kind of, sort of. So they didn't have to make it Instagram official. Although it probably was on Instagram.
I love it. So, if you do this particular thing on your first date, it's more likely to lead to a second date than if you had a first date at a bar. So here's the thing. Dating is a lot different than it was 40 years ago. And there's a reason why. In the 80s, it would have been a red flag if someone you hadn't met, wanted to go on a hike through the woods, right? Like, that would be weird.
Sounds dangerous or what?
A little dangerous, yeah. Now, according to a report from a matchmaking company, first dates that involve something active are 25% more likely to lead to a second date than meetups at a bar, restaurant, or coffee shops.
And let me jump in here for a second. We did just talk about taking a walk on the beach. So that is active, but watch out for quicksand.
Right. So active dates are anything that gets people on their feet and experiencing something new, like visiting a museum, strolling through the botanical gardens, attending a concert, grabbing a bite at a food truck, taking a cooking class, not just something where you're just sitting around.
Right. Like hiking, it says. Hiking is included in that list, and hiking boasts a whopping 50% success rate for a second date, if the first date is a hiking date.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this is pretty amazing. Like, I'm going to tell my single friends this if they're not already listening to the podcast. Bars used to be a popular option. Like, having a drink or two can relax you and you can talk and get to know each other, but that's becoming less popular for everyone. Boomers are the least interested in going to a bar, and Gen Zers see the least success following first dates at a bar.
Well, interestingly also, there are a lot more people, I think, now that are alcohol free and not afraid to admit it. It's like, okay, but not just maybe for many reasons, but just for the health benefits of not drinking alcohol. So they said that they want alcohol free ways to connect and create a space for authentic conversation and emotional chemistry to grow organically.
I love that. I really like that.
Active first dates. That's what you should think about, I guess.
What did you...
Chicken fried, huh?
Curt, I really wanted to know where you and Dana went on your first date. What'd you guys do?
We went to Azul in Mill Creek Town Center. We were supposed to go to across the street is what is it called? The something. Why can't I think of it? There's a lot of them. Anyway,
Azul. Okay.
Yeah, we were supposed to go there and meet, and of course she got there first, and I was a few minutes late. So I pulled the hey, I'm here. I can't find you. It's really busy. Let's just go across the street to Azul.
Oh, okay. Great.
So there you go. All right, chicken fried leads to this story. A chef reveals his favorite cooking hacks.
Okay, tell me.
Video posted by a chef. He has spent a lifetime now. His whole life he's been in the restaurant industry. This video he put up has 13 million views on YouTube. He must be doing something, right?
Oh my God. Who's the, wait, hold on. Does it say, who's the chef?
It does not say who the chef is.
Okay. All right.
I don't know if I don't know if he's keeping his identity. Anyway.
All right. Tell me.
We have the best tips, some of his favorite tips from the chef on cooking hacks. If you wash your produce with vinegar, it will last longer. 3 parts water, 1 part vinegar. Let them sit for a couple minutes. That's how you get them to last longer. Before adding fresh herbs to a dish, give them a strong squeeze beforehand to release twice as much flavor.
Okay.
You do that. Potato masher. Use that to break up all the big chunks of your ground beef. It works a lot better than a spoon or a fork. That's a good point. If you need to, this says much like Salt Bay. I don't know what that means. You need to add seasoning from high above. This provides an even seasoning to the largest surface area of meat. Yeah, not from like 3 or 4 inches.
You sprinkle up high. Yeah.
We have a few more. He says put soft cheeses like mozzarella or Gouda in the freezer for 15 to 30 minutes before grating them because it makes easy cheese crumbles.
Ooh, that's good.
Because otherwise it's kind of squishy, not so crumbly. If you want to make fluffier biscuits, use bigger chunks of butter. Womp womp. Do you ever make biscuits?
Yeah.
And finally, the last tip from this guy, cooking hacks. If you make soup and it's too watery, throw some breadcrumbs in there. It'll help thicken it up.
I love those.
Yeah. So
Curt,
feel free to, and you know what?
you.
If you know who this guy is with the 13 million views, sorry, we can't always tell you the names, but we do our best, right? Here we go.
Ooh, I love this. The most popular Disney villain. There's a new study based on Google search data that the past year to figure out the villains who are the most popular. And guess what?
Let's go with most popular last.
Okay.
We'll start this by saying, well, they did this based on, like you said, Google search, and they broke this down to different states. So each state, I guess, has their favorites or whatnot. So like the top 3, we'll go from 3 to 1. Ursula from The Little Mermaid is the 3rd most popular Disney villain. She's pretty nasty.
Yeah.
All right. Before that, number 2 most popular Disney villain is Oogie Boogie from The Nightmare Before Christmas. And that was most popular as well in the Western states. And the most popular Disney villain, Scar from The Lion King.
I was surprised by that one.
You don't think Scar is the scare or the most?
I think that Scar is a good one, and I think that the Lion King wasn't the Lion King, the live action Lion King out this past year.
Yeah, I did not see it, but
I didn't either. But I think that helps if they're doing it based on Google searches, you know what I mean?
Right. Finally, the Horned King from the Black Cauldron is the most popular among boomers. I don't know the Black Cauldron.
I don't either.
Oogie Boogie is a favorite of millennials, and Ursula's Moray Eels, Flotsam and Jetsam are Gen Z's favorite Disney villains.
Well, those are good. Those are good. I like them. Okay.
How about this one? And this has to do with screen time and how many screens there are in your home. That's a big deal too. How much screen time people are spending.
Yeah. So there's a TikTok mom that went viral after counting up all the different gadgets with screens that her family has. She and her husband have 4 kids aged 2, 5, 7, and 10. And she counted everything with a screen. I watched this video and they had, I think that, what did they have? I think it was 24 different, no.
2 dozen screens in their home. They were counting everything, Apple Watches, iPads, different tablets, all that kind of stuff, laptops, I guess TVs as well.
She did count a couple things that didn't have screens. I forget what it was. So we kind of threw it, those were kind of thrown out. But I was counting out, I was like, how many screens do I have? If you're including your phones, your computers, your TVs, your iPads. I mean, I got up to, without trying very hard, I came up, because there's 3 of us in the house.
Right.
I came up with, I think it was 14, just off the top.
Wow. Right in front of me right now, I can see 2 iPads. Here's my phone. I'm looking at a big computer screen. There's a laptop over there on Dana's desk and another desktop. So what is that? 6, 7 in this room alone?
Oh my gosh.
It's a lot.
People.
All right. Finally, we need to talk about this because this is going to lead to our question of the day. It's about nicknames. And this guy, a writer for the Wall Street Journal, is saying, guess what? Nicknames, he claims, are going extinct.
Yeah. Okay. So he was saying that he has 5 kids ages 6 to 18, and none of them have been given nicknames by their friends. He says none of their friends seem to have nicknames either. He claims that all types of nicknames are in decline, everything from Junior to calling your buddy from Dallas, Texas. And something is happening with my
Yeah. Well, he's unhappy about it. He thinks that nicknames are almost always a positive thing or like a sign of affection. Like people say that your name is Alexander Jacob. So initials, you might call that person AJ or JD or whatever. He says that they seem less common as well. Partly, he says, because parents take their kids' names more seriously than they used to.
Well, because he used the example that like his youngest kid has a few friends named William, and none of them go by Billy. They go by William.
Right. And then also he said of years ago, you might have called your heavyset friend Tiny as a joke, or you might be, or somebody said, calling somebody red because they have red hair or whatnot. And so this is based on, it looks like very little actual data, but this guy is finding that nicknames are going extinct. And he says one of the reasons may be that people are worried about offending people because people apparently are very easily offended these days.
I mean, there is that, for real. There is that.
Absolutely. So why don't we...
Our question of the day is going to relate to exactly that.
What is your nickname? And who gave it to you? How did you get it? You were asking me earlier, Jen, if I had a nickname. Most of my friends, excuse me, we just called each other by our last names. They say, hey, Cruz, that'd be, in fact, when I was on the radio before I got here in Detroit, I just used Cruz as my on-air name. So, but I don't know about any real nicknames. I mean, my parents would give you, loving nicknames like, hey, bud, or I think my mom called me Pumpkin. Is that one?
Yeah,
but that doesn't count. We're not talking about that.
Yeah, we're not talking about that. We're talking about true nicknames. So, okay, so these would probably not count. Would you think? So my nickname for a little bit, at least from my aunt Heidi, she would always used to call me Jenners.
Mm-hmm. So a variation of your name.
Yes. And so I was thinking about other people that I know with nicknames. I couldn't think of any, although both my girls, Riley and Macy, they have a very younger brother I think he's 2 years old, and he calls them nicknames. He calls Macy May May, and he calls Riley Buddy.
Okay.
So maybe it's making a comeback from the very, very, very young generations.
Here's one I can think of off the top of my head. Somebody that embraced their nickname when we were in Detroit, again, at the radio station, the assistant engineer had very poofy hair. His name was Rick, but we called him Poof, which then became Poof Daddy. So, and he loved it. He loved being Poof Daddy. Maybe he wouldn't these days so much, but so there you go. What is your nickname? Who gave it to you, and or how did you get it is what we want to know. That's your question. And on Wednesday, we will read back your fine, fabulous answers. Don't be nervous. You can share your nickname.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's going to be fun. And we really want to know how you got it, too. If there's like something that happened or whatever, we'll post it on our Facebook page, Curt and Jen in the Morning. It'll be on my personal Facebook page, Jen Pirak. And we are going to be back on Wednesday with a new episode just for you.
Just for you and nobody else, special for you. So thanks again. Like, follow, share, subscribe, whatever you want to do. We'd appreciate it. And we love doing the show for you 3 days a week.
Yeah, thanks for letting us be part of your world. Make good choices, find joy, spread kindness, and laugh. It's good for the soul. Have a good one.